All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this drop-in session to discuss GoLibrary. My name is Charlie Crittenden, and I am the Technology Services and Infrastructure Manager at the Northern Lights System.
Hi, I'm Amanda Robinson. I am the Indigenous Initiatives Librarian at Yellowhead Regional Library.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Bell. I am the Indigenous Coordinator for Peace Library System.
Hi, my name is Alicia Lambert, and I am Indigenous Outreach for Peace Library System.
Yeah. And so together we're the GoLibrary Committee. And the intent in forming the committee was that, Northern Lights got this project started over a year ago, and we wanted to bring, as we brought the rest of the track systems on board and sought to expand the GoLibrary initiative, we wanted to create a committee to bring together voices from across the various systems to basically collaborate on how to improve the platform, improve the service, and share resources and ideas together to move forwards with it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to share a little bit of information about what GoLibrary is and how it works. So GoLibrary is a resource to help eliminate some barriers for those living on nations or on settlement towards getting library cards. On the GoLibrary website, a patron will select their nation or settlement. When a member of a nation or settlement chooses their community, the 4 closest libraries to them will show up on GoLibrary. So if a reserve or settlement isn't listed in GoLibrary, anyone from those communities can still use GoLibrary by going to the other option that is listed under community, and they will be able to access a library card that way. The only difference with that when other is chosen, what would appear is the list of all the libraries in GoLibrary instead of the 4 that are closest to them. So after choosing their home library, a patron will complete a form on the GoLibrary website, and then they will receive an online library card that is good for up to 30 days. The form they will have completed is linked directly to Polaris. An email will be sent to whatever email each library provided to be used for GoLibrary with the information about the patron and the library card. The patron has their online card for 30 days, and then they will need to come in to the library to get a physical card. This physical card will be a brand new card, although if they have audiobooks or ebooks checked out through, say, Libby, for example, then they will need to have their cards merged to one account. And if your library does charge a membership fee, that will be paid when the patron comes in to get their physical card and not when they register through GoLibrary online. So GoLibrary was an initiative that was started by Northern Lights Library System using the On Reserve On Settlement grant. Currently, the library systems involved are Northern Lights Library System, Peace Library System, Marigold Library System, and Yellowhead Regional Library. So we have all of the track library systems on GoLibrary now. And I will pass it over to Rochelle and Alicia.
Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about like promotional materials. So we have created a few things for when we go out to nations and run. So one is, well, this one was created by Northern Lights. So it's a little postcard, tells you something about it, has a QR code for people so they can go right to the site. And then we made up some bookmarks. Again, there's the QR code. And then on the back, it states everything that Amanda had said. So the steps to do it, select your nation, discover the closest library to you, and runs you through all of the steps that you'll need to do online in order to get that library card. And then we also have created some, I don't know if you can see them, there we go. Banners that we have put on tables to hopefully get the conversation started about Go libraries, and hopefully that they can, yeah, there, we got that one. And then we got the one with the QR code and stuff on the bottom. And urging people to, scan this on their phone and they can get their library card right away, go home and use their services as soon as possible. And then also being able to answer those questions while we're right there.
And sign up as well.
And sign up, yeah. And if they need help, then we're right there to do that for them. And so up here at Peace Library System, we do have, you know, many nations that we do service. So we go to, we do a lot of outreach. And so Alicia will talk a little bit about some of the stuff that she's using GoLibrary for when she's doing outreach up north.
Yeah, so I find that GoLibrary has been I mean, really well received up north. Like whenever we go and do culture camps, treaty days, career fairs, anything like that where we can set up a booth, assemblies. And we have been out to some nations as well, and they are really interested in it because of just the limitations of transportation, especially in these remote communities. So yeah, we've been getting out there trying to get members signed up, and yeah, it's been really well received so far. And it's building those connections and relationships with like bridging the relationships with the libraries, and then also on nations as well. So bringing them to our libraries.
And then we will also be at Stronger Together this year. The four of us presenting and hopefully being able to spread some more awareness on, you know, how beneficial GoLibrary would be to a system or even a library in general for reaching out to nations and hopefully getting those patrons in. I mean, the beautiful end goal is we would hope that, you know, nations would have their own library so they do not have to leave their nation to get the same services that everybody else gets. However, this is something that they can do at home if they have the internet, and they can access those services right away. And a lot of people do love it, especially for those audiobook pieces we're finding. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think our hope in having this drop-in chat today and preparing for our conference presentation at Stronger Together and other efforts we'll make to reach out to learn more about what would be helpful to libraries and library systems with GoLibrary is just to like find different ways in which you can use GoLibrary as part of outreach, as part of relationship building, as part of visiting communities. And I think the Peace Library System, Rochelle and Alicia there have been doing an amazing job using it, Amanda as well, and just how seeing how it's part of an outreach, part of outreach efforts. And it just provides a great tool to be able to direct, you know, community member to a website where they can just sign up right away and get access to some helpful e-resources like Libby, Overdrive, e-audiobooks, that sort of thing, and have a route towards going and signing up for a full library card at a nearby library. And so, yeah, it's been great to see how it's developed. Really, it's still in its early days, in its first year or so overall. Its first months, really, first maybe 5 or 6 months at Peace Library in Yellowhead, Marigold and Yellowhead and Peace for the last year or so. So basically, we're still in the early days of developing it and seeing what next steps it's going to take, seeking to expand it further. And so I just wanted to speak a little bit to that topic. So, you know, firstly, the goal with GoLibrary is to expand beyond track, to expand to other library systems around Alberta, and to seek to make it a service that helps connect, you know, First Nations and Métis community members across the province, and then ideally even outside of the province, just to improve opportunities for library access. And you know, the current platform that you see when you go visit GoLibrary.ca is what was created over a year ago with different features that are in place. And we certainly welcome feedback from libraries if you're using it, or if you get feedback from patrons using it of what could be helpful. Like, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. You can also find me on the Northern Lights website. But basically, we're seeking to develop it further. So, for example, an idea we've had is to have a map view to make it easier. Right now, if you look at it, it's just a list of a bunch of libraries. It would be easier to perhaps find your community or find a nearby library if you can access it on a map and navigate that way. Another topic that might be helpful for libraries is data reporting. So right now, there's not a very convenient way to get data on how many signups you've had at your library system or your library. That's a feature we'd like to see. Just so you know, if you do want to have that data, I will be sending out some information to the library systems like towards the end of the year, because I can finagle that basically, but it's a bit of a process. And so we'd like to make that easier for library systems to access. And something else, which is a bit of a bigger project, is just reflecting on ways to make it easier to get a digital card, so that someone could, verify their identity online in some way. And basically, if possible, wouldn't it be interesting if we could remove the step of having to go to a library in person to be able to get a full library card? And so that's sort of a bigger project that we're reflecting on and discussing. But that's something else that's would be meaningful to be able to achieve, to improve access. So those are just a few thoughts around ideas for future developments and features. And I guess I just wanted to take the opportunity while I'm chatting to also just address a few common questions that we've received before asking if any of our attendees have any questions. So, we sent out a survey in advance of this, asking people if they had any questions for us. We've also been hearing from our various libraries and users with questions that have come in over the last year. So there's a few points I just thought I'd chat about. So one question we've received is, can patrons just continuously create different library accounts every 30 days? So because basically there's no verification happening on the level of the website when you're putting in your information. But what is happening, just in terms of how that works, is it's the same kind of verification or duplicate checking that happens when someone signs up for a library card on the side of Polaris. So if you're a track system, there's rules within Polaris related to duplicate accounts, which are tied to information like your name, birthday, and that sort of thing. And so basically when an account is created through the GoLibrary web form, it's going to Polaris to be checked in that way. And as Amanda noted, for how it works is that, when you sign up for the website, you get access to some of the e-resources. But in order to get a full library card, you currently do have to go in person to a library. So there's that sort of final check of identity. But that's just that's a question we've heard a few times. Another point is, if this service is who is it available for? So, technically you might think anyone could go onto this website and sign up for a library card, but it's intended to be serving First Nations and Métis community members across Alberta, across the treaty areas that we're serving. And it was funded through ORIS grant funding, and it's just oriented towards providing service for First Nations reserves and Métis settlements. If your library is interested in having improved options for online self-registration, when we created GoLibrary and we created this connection with Polaris to have the web form for signing up, we also got the same kind of form that can be inserted onto any Mugo website. And you can see that on a number of Northern Lights library websites. I'd encourage you to go check some of them out, like say Vermilion or Vegreville or Morinville. You can find like a sign up for a library card on their website that's available for any patron. So if you're a library hearing this and you're interested in opening up access for self-registration for all of your patrons, feel free to reach out to me or to your system contact, your consultants or whatever for information on that topic, because there are options out there to have more access for online self-registration. Yeah, the intent of GoLibrary is for the specific purposes it's being created for. And I think those are the main points to make in terms of common questions that we've received. Did I miss any, guys, or any ones that came up in our conversations?
Not that I can think of.
So yeah, I think that's sort of our brief blurb there on GoLibrary for our various attendees. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you've heard from your libraries or questions you'd like to ask? Feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourself. Duncan says that he loves GoLibrary. It's Duncan. It is a great service. It's been nice to see. Is it mobile friendly? I don't know if have you guys used it on mobile when you've been out?
Yes, with service, like anywhere that you can get service or Wi-Fi, you can sign up.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes that is a barrier when you're going out to these remote nations. They don't have the greatest service. So the ones that do, they will scan the QR code and do it. For ones that don't, we're just like, here's a QR code to take home. So
but,
yeah.
Yes, it is. It is mobile friendly, like it displays well on a phone or what have you.
Oh,
So yeah, it's definitely an option for making use of it. Sure, yeah. Thanks for your questions. So I guess I'll just chat for a moment longer, but if anyone has any further questions, just feel free to put them in there. But basically this is just our first effort to introduce ourselves as a committee. We just met for a few times. We formed at the start of this year, and we've been just brainstorming and coming up with ideas for how to improve GoLibrary. So we really welcome any feedback you have or any thoughts you have if you're seeing this live or seeing the recording of this. And our goal is definitely to improve the resources that are out there for you to know how to make use of GoLibrary, how to use it in outreach, how to suggest ideas for its future development. And we're just going to be producing some videos for the public to make it easier for them to know what GoLibrary is or how to make use of it. This video is a first step in making some content for our libraries within track or outside, just to get a little intro to what GoLibrary is. But we'd like to basically create more resources for you as libraries to be supported as you use GoLibrary. And we're really looking forward to our Stronger Together presentation, as I think that'll be a meaningful opportunity to talk more about the importance of GoLibrary for improving access, as well as how to make use of it in a concrete sense as part of outreach. Would anyone like to add anything before we close off?
No, just thank you for being here or watching our recording. And I hope you come watch our presentation at Stronger Together if you're interested in learning more.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks so much. I will end our recording there. And thanks everyone for attending.